Cut. Cut. What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel, Chrissy's Lifestyle. If you are new, hello, my name is Cassandra. Thank you for stopping by and clicking on this video, and I hope you find my channel interesting enough to want to stay and subscribe down below. And if you're old, what's up, guys? I hope you guys are doing well. I hope this video greets you well. In today's video, I will be talking about some cons of being a flight attendant, or like some of the stuff that I wouldn't say I didn't know, because I did my research before doing the job, but there are certain things that I still didn't understand about the job. But anyways, I'm going to be telling you some cons, or what you should know before you become a flight attendant. So if you want to see more, then keep on watching.
Into the soap, how the faucet's running and I keep looking at you. Stuck on your phone, or you're stuck in your zone. And you don't ever cook, but I don't want to give up.
So the first con of becoming a flight attendant is early showtime. Now, if you're not a morning person like me, then you are going to struggle so much to wake up at 2 and 3 in the morning just to get to work for 5 or 6. Guys, it is a struggle. I am not a morning person. Like, I do not wake up at 5 or 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock every morning. I get up like at 10, 11, 12. It just depends. But I'm a late sleeper, so that's why. But that is the first thing that you need to know. If you are thinking about becoming a flight attendant, you will have early shows. And if you work for mainline airlines, then you're probably gonna have to go to work for like 2, 3 in the morning. It will vary, right? Being away from home. So if you're the type of person that loves your family and you don't like to be away from home, then this is not the job for you, because you will be away from home, and you're going to be away from home for as long as 3 days, 3 to 4 days. You can be away from home. It just depends. It just depends on where you're based, and it just depends on what kind of trips you have. So the highest trips we have are like 4 days or 5-day trips. So you can be away from home for as long as 3 to 4 days. You can be away from home. Working on holidays. No, we know that no one likes to work on holidays. Like, when it's a holiday, of course, you want to get that day off. You want to enjoy your holiday with your family, with your friends, whatever you choose to do. So no one likes to work on holidays, but with this job, you will work on holidays. I'm not saying that you will always work on holidays, because it depends on your schedule, because sometimes you get holidays off, sometimes you don't. Like, it just depends. But for the most part, like, the airlines doesn't consider holidays. So yeah. Being on call or reserve. Now, if you are, every new flight attendant goes through this. Like, you're always on call, or you're in what's called reserve. So when you're in reserve, like, if you guys want me to make a separate video like talking about this, I can, but I'm just gonna try and make it short. But when you're on reserve, basically you're on call. So they call you whenever they need you. If they need you 3 in the morning, they'll call you 3 in the morning. If they need you at 6 in the afternoon, they're going to call you 6 in the afternoon. But you have a certain amount of call out time. So okay, if your flight is at 5 in the morning, the latest they can call you is 3 in the morning. Actually, no, 2 in the morning, because you have a show time when you're gonna have to be. So your flight is at 5, your show time, the time that you have to get to work, it's gonna be 4. So they're gonna call you like around 2 in the morning. Sometimes they call you before 2. They can call you before that time, or they can call you after that time. It just depends. So basically, you're on call. I'm on call right now because I moved to a new airline, so I went back on reserve. And you can ask any flight attendant this, they hate being on reserve. It sucks. But when you're living home and you're on reserve, it's way better. But when you're living, let's say you live in one state and you work out of another state, you're based somewhere else, then it can be so horrible being on reserve. Long hours of working. If you're not the type of person that can handle 14 or 15 hours in a day of work, then this is not the job for you. Most airlines, it's 14 hours. So you can work for as much as 14 hours in one day. However, sometimes it can go past that 14 hours. It just depends. It can go past like 2 extra hours past that 14 hours, but usually your days can be so long. Sometimes it is ridiculous. All you want to do when you get done with work is to go sleep and eat and just relax, you know. But there are long hours being a flight attendant, like you guys know that. So not being paid protected. So basically, some airlines, when you're on reserve, you're not paid protected for certain things. So let's say, okay, you had a flight today, but because of weather, it was canceled. So if you're a line holder, then you will be paid protected. Like you would get paid for that trip even though it was canceled. But if you're on reserve, like I am, and a flight cancels, you don't get paid for that flight. So that's how it is. Like you're not paid protected with every airline. And like I tell you, every airline is different. Some airlines, they paid protect you whether you have a line and you're on reserve, they do. And some airlines are different, they don't. So you just need to, like, you know, that's another con of being a flight attendant. Having to build seniority. This is by far one of the hardest things, I'd say, because that will determine when you get a line or if you stay on reserve. So I mean, some of this might be confusing to some of you, but if you guys want me to go in depth with some of the points that I'm listing, just let me know. But having to build seniority. Okay, so when you get hired, you go to the bottom of the list, and you have to, like, as you work with the company and the years go by, the months go by, whatever, your seniority gets higher and higher and higher. But that will only depend too on if your company constantly keeps hiring people. Like my seniority at my company is rising rapidly because our company literally, like, I'm not even kidding you, we literally have a graduating class every month or every other month. We have a graduating class. So like with that, if your company hires a lot, your seniority will grow faster because people are coming and people are coming under you. The more people come into the company and goes under you, the more you will rise in your company, and then you'll be able to hold a line and stuff like that. So I will make a separate video like telling you the difference between a line holder and the difference between being on reserve, and I will explain that a bit more to you guys. But for now, like, yeah, you have to build seniority with whichever airline. Like, it doesn't even matter which airline. Every airline, you have to build seniority. It's nothing that you can run away from, unless if let's say you just started with a company and then they open a new base and you were the first set of graduating people to go into that new base, then you're going to automatically be at the top of your seniority list. But otherwise to that, you're going to have to build seniority. Dealing with the time zones. That's another con of being with a flight attendant, because, okay, the first hour you could be in Eastern time, which is regular time or whatever. The next 2 hours or 3 hours, you can be in Mountain time. And the next hour or two, you can be in like Central time or Pacific time. Like, it's so frustrating sometimes because your time is changing so much. And then that's not the only thing, dealing with the different weather, because okay, you can be in Florida now, right? Florida is hot, and then 2 hours later you're in Montana, and Montana is freaking cold. Like, dealing with the two weather changes in the time zones, that can kind of like throw you off and stuff like that. So yeah, keep that in mind, guys. Is losing time. So losing time, most times that occurs like when you're delayed a lot and stuff like that. Like, that is just like, no one likes to be delayed, especially us as crew members, because if we're delayed on the ground, we're not getting paid if our aircraft door is open. So if our door is open and we're delayed, we're not getting paid for all that time that's wasted. So of course we're as angry as you are, because we're not getting paid, you're not getting to go where you want to go, so we're both losing time, you know. Like, the day is becoming even longer. It's just ridiculous. Or sometimes if it's delayed too much, let's say we would have had 3 flights for that day and we're so delayed, we're probably are going to just have like 2 flights for that day, and the last flight is going to be canceled or something. So that's just how it is sometimes, but you need to take that into consideration if you are thinking about becoming a flight attendant. There's no specific days off, so it's not likely that you're going to get the same days off every single month, or it's not likely you're gonna get specific days off all the time. So it depends on your seniority. Everything in the airline industry depends on your seniority. So let's say you want Mondays and Tuesdays off, every Mondays and Tuesdays off. You're not gonna get every Mondays and Tuesdays off. You might be lucky to get it for 1 month, but you might not get it for the second month. So you need to like know, like, yeah, you would not get specific days off. Your days off are going to be completely different every month. So yeah, you have to always be prepared. So especially if you're on reserve. So when, like I told you, when you're on reserve, you're on call, and when you're on call, you have to be prepared. Like your bags always have to be packed, like your shoes need to be ready at the door, your uniform need to always be pressed. If you have to do your makeup stuff need to be laid out, so that when they call you and be like, hey Chris, we got a trip for you, it's in like 3 hours, like you need to get to the airport in 3 hours, everything must be set. You shouldn't have to pack your stuff in your bag and all these crazy stuff. No, you always have to be prepared. And another point too is that you need to have double everything. That this point goes with the point with being prepared, because okay, you're gonna have to have like 2 toothbrushes, you're gonna have to like 2 sets of makeup and stuff like that. Because okay, why I say that, like 2 sets of bad stuff, and so why I say that is because okay, you don't want to have your bad stuff and your toothbrush and your toothpaste out in the bathroom, and then excuse me, and then when they call you and be like, hey, we got a trip for you, you gotta like pack all of that from your bathroom, you gotta pack all your makeup stuff. Like no, like that's why you have 2 toothbrushes. You have one that you would use at home and one that you always have in your bag. That way you have 2, you don't have to like pack anything in your bag. You just put your clothes on and just go, you know. Sometimes what I do is like, if I get up in the morning, I would try and do my makeup, nothing too much, just in case they call me. My face is already done, I don't have to do anything, just put my clothes on and just leave and stuff like that. Mood swings, I'm not gonna lie, this is one of the biggest cons of being a flight attendant. Like sometimes you might meet flight attendants who are so rude, they're like just mean as F, they're just, but that just comes with the job, honestly. Like no, for some flight attendants it come with the job, but other flight attendants, they're just born naturally rude, like rude and stuff. But anyways, like as a flight attendant, you do get mood swings. I get mood swings a lot, I'm not gonna lie. Like it's like in the morning I'm like happy, and then in the afternoon I'm like, you know what, screw everybody, I hate everybody. And like it just comes with the job, because going through your day, it's just, it can get so stressful sometimes, like, and then too having to deal with delays, having to deal with like maybe you don't like your crew, like maybe someone's been mean to you during the day, like all of that, like rude passengers, like all of that kind of contributes to you having like mood swings and stuff. I'm not gonna lie, the job is fun, but for the most part you do get mood swings and like stuff like that, but you should really take that into consideration. One is working for long hours. I think I mentioned this, but sometimes you're gonna be working for long hours. Like okay, one of your flights might be like 4 hours or 5 hours. It just depends on where your airline flies. And if you work for a mainline, your flights are going to be longer, because if you go to places like Beijing, or you go to places like London and Paris and all these places, your flight are going to be so freaking long. You're going to want to die after the 2nd hour of your flight. You're going to want to die, literally. But yeah, that happens. Like it's a part of the job, like especially if you want to fly internationally. Sweetie, just be prepared for long flights, seriously. Training is hard, of course. That's like one of the biggest cons of being a flight attendant. Like you think that it's simple stuff that we do, but then when you actually like when you actually go through training, a lot of people realize then right there and then that they don't want to be flight attendants. The training alone would make you want to not become a flight attendant. But I have another video coming out that I'm talking about flight attendant training, so you guys will be able to see that. So yeah. And my last and final point is very, 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 very important. So pull your ears close to this camera, because it is very important. So this last one is, you are not possibly gonna live where you work. Like every airline has different bases. If you're fortunate to get an airline with a base where you live, you're so much better off. And my first company, because I live in Florida, and my first company, I was based in Washington DC. So I lived in Florida and I worked out of Washington DC. Technically I lived in DC as well, because I was in DC most of the time, but that was so hard because I have to commute. And when you don't get based where you live, you have to commute to work, and commuting takes so much time. It takes your days off, it takes everything from you. And every other day I'm on a plane commuting back and forth from Washington to Florida, Washington to Florida. So with my new company, I looked for an airline that had a base in Orlando. So my company has a base in Orlando, but unfortunately when I had graduated, I did not get the Orlando base as soon as I graduated. They based me in Chicago. So now I was commuting all over again, and I was so mad. So I was working out of Chicago and living out of Orlando for a little while. So of recently, they based me in Orlando, so I finally got to be in Orlando. So now I'm at home and I live in Orlando and I work out of Orlando. So that is one of the major things that you need to consider. Like, I'm not even kidding you. I would not say do not commute. Like, do not. Like, you're gonna think, oh, it's fun, it's nice, blah, 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 blah. You get to be away from home, no parents, no nothing. But I'm gonna tell you, for the first couple months, like maybe like a month or two, you're gonna be so happy that you're away from home, you're in a new state, you know, you can meet people, whatever. But after that month, it's gonna get freaking depressing. You're gonna want to go home, you're gonna become homesick. It's ridiculous. Like, I'm not even kidding you guys. Like, you're gonna want to be home. Like, and then every time you fly home, it's gonna be harder to leave just because you miss home. So that is one of the major things to consider. If you're looking for an airline, let's say you live in New York, look for airlines that have bases in New York, like JetBlue. There's like a couple other base. If you live in New Jersey, there's like United, they have bases there. Like, just wherever you live, just look for airlines that have bases. Research the airline that you want to fly for and look for their bases, because that is important. I'm telling you that, because you don't want to be based someplace else where you don't live. You're gonna be freaking miserable, I am telling you. So yeah guys, that is it. That is it for my cons of being a flight attendant. Like, this job is amazing, I'm not gonna lie to you, it is amazing. Like, when you get in the air and you do your job, you do your beverage service, when you're done for the rest of the flight. You can sit down, you can relax, but you need to still be alert and stuff like that. So that's like the one thing to. Oh, and another point too, kind of being a flight attendant, you cannot sleep. Like, you cannot sleep on the aircraft. If your flight is 4, 5, 6 freaking hours, you need to be awake for all those hours. Some of the main line, they have like, they switch it up, so they have rest periods. They give you like an hour or two rest. Not our airline. Like, we're not that bougie as yet, but there's some bougie ass airlines out here that they have restrooms, like places that you can sleep, and you can sleep there and stuff. But not our airline. No, we not that bougie as yet. But anyways, but you cannot sleep. You always have to be awake and alert. So keep that in mind as well, because if they see you sleeping, or if your coworkers see you sleeping, they can go snitch on you and you can lose your job, because you're not supposed to be sleeping. You're there wholly and solely to protect the passengers and stuff like that. We're also called safety professionals, but a lot of people don't use the term. Like, a lot of people prefer to use the term flight attendant, but we're also called safety professionals. So like, you can't sleep. You cannot sleep. But otherwise than that, the job is really fun. If you're considering being a flight attendant, I would say definitely go for it. And if you have any more questions, just message me. I will link my social medias down below, and you guys can message me if you have any more questions and you want to talk to me personally about becoming a flight attendant. And if you want me to help you through the process and stuff, just message me and I will like try my best to help you and stuff. I will link up here, or I will link at the end of the video. I will link my video on how to become a flight attendant, and if you click that video, there's a link at the bottom that you can click it'll take you to all the airlines that are hiring right now. I will link it in this video as well. I will link the flight attendant website that you can apply to become a flight attendant. So anyways guys, that was my video. I hope you guys liked it. If you did, you can give it a thumbs up, and then you can let me know what other videos you guys want to see. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you made it to the end, thank you so much for watching. And I will see you guys in my next video. Comment, subscribe, and share to your friends. And tell your African, Indian, or white auntie to come join the clique, okay? Okay, guys, I'll see you next time. Bye.
Me, can you focus on me? Baby, can you focus?